There is a reason as to why Dunkirk is one of my favourite movies. I think that reason is because, well, to put it simply, it was executed in such an alien way. There's not a movie quite like it. Most movies focus on character and how events happen to a character, but Dunkirk is nothing like this. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Dunkirk focuses on the event as the character experiences it. In the vast majority of movies, the director tries to make the audience care for a character, while in Dunkirk, Christopher Nolan intentionally did not. And that right there is not just what made up the greatest parts of this movie, but also what made the most damaging parts. While Nolan decharacterized most of his characters, that allowed him to show many more perspectives to the ongoing events. This is something that, in my opinion, other undoubtedly great war movies fail to do. Whether it be a British soldier, a commander in charge, an RAF pilot, or even a civilian in his boat, Nolan managed to capture the point of view of them all, and that, along with some of the greatest cinematography seen in 2017, is what makes this movie so fantastic. If Nolan had decided to go for the common approach of just focusing on one point of view, we would have been more invested in that character, but less aware of the immense scale of the Dunkirk evacuations. One thing Christopher Nolan achieved flawlessly was creating a constant feeling of tension throughout the movie. This was not just done by Christopher Nolan. To give credit where credit is due, Hans Zimmer's score was perfect and did play a big part in the tension of this movie, but I'll talk about that later. For now, I think most of all, Nolan's way of creating a scene was perfect. Christopher Nolan clearly shows an expert level of knowledge on how tension is created. But before we take a look at Dunkirk's craft, we need to first understand the key to creating tension. Quite simply, when it comes to tension, all you need to do is build expectation. Now, how does Nolan do this? Well, a great example is this clip. It is quite easy to understand why the tension in this scene is so great. The bombs start off far away and come closer and closer. After the first few seconds, the viewer can easily see that the protagonist is in danger, and then the bombs stop one short of the protagonist. This is an excellent showing of how the prolonged expectation of the bombs killing the protagonist creates tension. There is no doubt that Hans Zimmer hit the nail on its head with this movie. His score was one of the leading factors to the overall performance of this film, and it all started with a subtle tick. And that is a common thing in the legendary composer's scores. He used it in other great movies like Interstellar and Sherlock Holmes. But in Dunkirk, the orchestra makes an illusion that the tick is going higher and higher. This creates suspense. It makes you cling to the edge of your seat. This is because Zimmer is taking advantage of an auditory illusion called a shepherd tone. It consists of several tones separated by an octave and then layered on top of one another. It can make it sound like a piano scale is going on forever. If you put this on a soundtrack, you can get one of the most suspenseful scores ever created, and Christopher Nolan loves this illusion. He uses it in different parts of The Dark Knight Rises. An illusion like this can make tension palpable, and all it takes is some clever sound design.